Hi, folks, this is Danny. Welcome to Danny's Corner. Today, I want to talk about why I like living alone. Um, as a blind person, as I have said before, I was born like this, completely blind. And I have to tell you that there is no more satisfaction to a blind person than to making sure that he or she is surrounded by peace, right? By things that will keep that person calm, something that's not chaotic. I think we all want that, but especially blind people. And what happens a lot of times when blind people are thrown into a sea of confusion? Well, the person drowns. And this is exactly what happens when a blind person lives with family members, because a lot of times that blind person doesn't have the privacy that they need and able to achieve some independence. What do I mean by that? Um, as a sighted person, independent, it doesn't matter if you're a teenager or an adult, um, you go out by yourself. Even though your parents may not want you to, you find a way to go out. So, by doing that simple act, by your kids doing that simple act, and I'm sure when a lot of you were younger, you would do that too. You just gained your independence. Doesn't matter if it's for 30 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, or seven. You've gained independence. And the more you do it, I'm not encouraging you to disobey your parents. I'm just giving you an example. The more you do it, the more you take on responsibilities, going to the store, um, when you do things for your parents, the more independent you become. Now, as a blind person, we are not given that same opportunity for whatever reason. So, our independence usually may come or should come in other ways. For example, um, making sure that people ask us questions. Would you like this? Would you like that? Instead of demanding, do this, do that. If you want to keep our trust as a blind individual, then don't demand. Don't be overbearing. Because if that has not helped your sighted children, it's not going to help us. Remember, as I have said on other videos too, we are a different culture. Although we may speak the same language and we may seem to have the same customs or the same values, what have you, we are a different culture. And we didn't come to this earth knowing what your rules, what your game plan is. We were thrown into this world without knowing what we were going to face. And I speak more about this in there's a video that I made. It's called Why Assimilating to the United States is Hard, or one of those titles. I can't remember. But again, people expect for even disabled folks to just get on with the program, follow what other people are doing. That's not quite easy. So the reason why I like living alone is because it gives me that privacy that I never had when I was living with my parents. Privacy is so important because, as I said, just like a person who's sighted, who wants independence, goes out without his mother or father knowing, obviously that's privacy, right? That's independence. You don't want your parents to know what you're doing. You want to be uh, you want to be free from something that's obviously bothering you, or just because you just want to go out and hang out with people. In the same way, because most blind people are not taught how to do things by themselves, as I said before, the best way is to give blind people and other people with disabilities their space. That means that if they have their own room, you knock before you enter. You say things like, "May I come in?" You say things like, "Would you like to go out to this place or to that place or to that place?" You say things like, "I'm going to teach you how to do this," and have patience the first few times that that person is doing something for you. Because it's a whole different thing. A blind person is not going to learn the same way that a sighted person does. So, yep, that's why I like living alone. It's privacy. Number two, I get to do whatever I want. What do I mean by that is if I want to leave to a friend's house or to another uh, person's house, because they're having a get together, or I want to go to a restaurant or whatever the case is. If I want to leave at 8, I leave at 8. And if I want to come back at midnight or at 1 a.m., which has happened in more than one occasion, I get at home at 1 a.m. and there's no problem with that. I've gone out as late as 10 p.m., sometimes 10:30. And there's no problem with that. So just the freedom of getting out there without having somebody worrying about you all the time, that as if you were some sort of a sugar cube, you're going to melt at any minute. Let me tell you, that's really comforting. The other thing is living alone gives you a sense of responsibility, which I don't think a lot of blind people know, as I said before, because they have not been given that because of the whole attitude that you're going to hurt yourself and whatnot. Living independently gives you that sense of responsibility that may be too much for some blind people. But we need to experience that to see if that's going to be too much, and we're going to be able to handle it or not. And this is why there should be a responsibility given to a person with a disability from a young age, depending on what that disability may be. So when they do grow to a mature age, and when they're able to take responsibility for their own actions, they can at least make that decision. I want to move to college. No, I don't want to move outside, and because that's too much responsibility. I need more experience. But how is a blind person at the age of 20, 25, 30 years old, still living with their parents, going to know anything about responsibility? These people, and I'm not criticizing them or anything, a lot of these people do not know how to pay bills. A lot of these people do not know how to wash dishes. A lot of these people perhaps don't know how to do other things around the house. But they want to be independent. But again, how are you going to be independent if people don't let you? If people have not placed responsibilities as a child? And so to me, one of the greatest things that I have learned from living alone, and this is why I like it, is because I have responsibilities. And what that does to me, although they're hard, nothing is easy in life, they do show a person new things every day. And you learn new things. And it also gives a person with a disability this thing of talking to people. And so it forces you to talk to people who do not think like you, who may not be aware of your disability. It gives you this thing of you having that chance to educate people more and more. And unfortunately, you can't get that when you live with your parents. And so if you do see somebody who's blind and who seems to be a bit awkward, it might be because of that, because they have never gotten the experience of hanging out with people that are different than they are in terms of, they're blind and the other people are sighted. And it happens to me even today. And it's frustrating. But at least I'm trying. At least, I'm living alone. At least I'm hanging out with people. At least I'm doing this work, which I absolutely like, which is making YouTube videos. I'm a mentor for medical students, and I do a lot of stuff. And again, that's the joy of living alone. That's the good part. Are there some interesting things that I don't like? Absolutely. But I am not going to let myself be guided by fear of what is to come, because I'm just going to end up paralyzed, not doing anything in life. And there's no more uh, sad thing in life. There's nothing that's sad than to live a life where you can't do what you want. You can't do what you like. Not because you don't want to, but because you are dependent on other people. So yeah, there are pros and cons to living alone. Obviously, having your family nearby is a great thing. In my case, I live very far from them, but it also gives you a chance to discover more of yourself, and what actually how other people feel about you. And that's what I'm going to talk on the next video. The other lesson that I have learned from living on my own. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of you subscribers. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. Make sure to give a thumbs up or a like. Remember that when you give a like, it helps other people who might have a disability to find this channel, or other parents who might have a child with a disability, or a friend who's sighted who might have a friend who has a disability. They might find this channel and be like, oh, now I found a channel that can teaches me how to interact with a person with a disability. Or you never know, you might become disabled in the next 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years. And this is not to scare you, but again, it's always a good thing to have videos that teach you how to cope with a disability if you were to ever have one. So that's why you should give a like. So thank you very much to those people who have liked this channel, who have shared, subscribed, and who have made their comments. I will talk to you on the next video. Bye.